Hey, welcome back to Driving Forward. I'm Tamara Bunn. This is my friend Ashley McCabe of McCabe's Automotive. Ashley, thanks for joining us today.
I can't wait. I'm really excited.
Oh, fantastic. So, for those of you who are new to my channel, I tend to talk about things that we don't generally talk about as women, as Gen Xers, millennials. Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about what happens when you don't know how to take care of your car, and the best way of going about finding a reputable location, a shop that'll actually talk to you like a person and treat you with respect that you deserve. So sit back, relax, and we'll see you on the other side. Ashley, again, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
We are so excited that you're here.
Thank you so much for thinking of me. This is something I'm really passionate about, so I can't wait to share.
What is the biggest problem that women of a certain age have when they call you the first time?
So people in general, when they call me, unfortunately, people only think they need automotive repair when they're in an emergency, right? Something's broken, car won't start. And that's usually not a great way to start a relationship, right?
Yeah.
You're in an emergency and you're scared. A lot of times when people call, they're uneducated about the situation that they're in, and that institutes fear. So it doesn't feel good when they call me because they're already in a fear situation. And we do our best to negate that, but usually for the first time, if a customer's never been to us before, that's usually the first time we hear from them, is they're in a fearful situation because their vehicle is not operating. There's a funny saying I like to say, a vehicle is sometimes someone's second biggest purchase and the one they know nothing about.
Yeah, exactly. Because even if it's your house, then, you know that you've got plumbing issues, you call a plumber, you know that you're not smart enough to, if you can turn the water off, you turn the water off.
Yep.
But if a car doesn't start,
what do we do?
Yeah, it's not like you can just turn it on again because it won't.
Yep. And it's usually when you're trying to go to work or you have your kids in the car and you're at the grocery store, you have a kid back road full of groceries, you go to your car, it won't start. What do you do? And if you haven't built that relationship, or if you don't know where to go, or if you're a single mom, or your partner has passed on and they've handled all of those things, it's a very scary situation to be in. What do you do?
Exactly. And that's what I was, basically where we start is, are you going through a divorce? Have you ever taken care of your car to begin with? Has your partner always done it? Do you even know where your licenses are? Have you looked in your glove box recently or checked the when your tabs expire? Because that is one thing that I know that seems to be a big deal too, is, if you just have never done it, then it's really hard to start. What would be your first steps, or what should somebody do if they're absolutely terrified and aren't sure where to begin?
If you're not sure where to begin, my biggest piece of advice is look into it before you have a problem. If you're watching this podcast now and you're thinking to yourself, something would happen to my car today when I go to leave, I don't know what I would do. Building a relationship and someone that you can trust is really, really important. Shop your shops. I am a firm believer. Go to your shops, walk in. What does it feel like? Who greets you? Get to know them. We have people that I encourage customers to look for someone to build a relationship with and see them on a regular basis. I obviously, as a woman-owned shop, I do have several women in my shop, and I encourage customers, if you don't know how to check your oil, let me know. We will walk you out there, show you how to check the oil in your car. Or if you don't feel comfortable, just stop by. Stop by and we'll check the oil in your car. But find someone, pick them up, pick up the phone, call them. Hi, I'm looking for a automotive shop to do regular business with. And just get to know them. Building that relationship when there's no fear involved, and you can truly get to know the experience you're going to have when you are in a situation when you need a car, that'll provide some comfort.
That is a really good point. If you actually are preventative and do your research prior to when you need this, that's actually a really good idea in every situation.
100%.
If you've ever been stranded doing anything, it's really good to have thought about things prior to having it smack you in the face.
And we don't love that.
No, not at all. Because, I don't really enjoy all of a sudden finding out that something has happened that I don't have control over or hadn't already planned for. There's always those possibilities that you are in a place where you can't. Maybe you can't get a hold of your significant other. Maybe you have to make a decision on your own.
Yep.
It's a good thing to have a plan in place and a relationship already started. Now,
there's great places to find those resources as well. Google is always a good one. You can type in automotive repair shops near me and look at the ones that are around you. A nice 5 to 10 mile radius around you. So it's close because you're most likely going to break down near your home or at your home. So finding something that's close. AAA is also a really great website to do research. Those shops have all been vetted and interviewed. They must maintain a certain customer satisfaction. They do also provide, if you're a AAA member discount. Those shops are generally held to a little bit higher standard. Not only do they have to answer to the consumer, but they also have to answer to AAA. And then ask your friends and family, hey, you drive a car. Where do you take your car? Do you go to the dealer? Do you go to an independent shop? A lot of people don't know you are not chained to the dealer. You can take your vehicle wherever you want as long as it's not covered under a manufactured warranty and still get some service.
Oh, I bet that is a really good point that not a lot of people know about. They're assuming that they have to go to the dealership. And yeah, for the first, 3 years, 60,000 miles, or 5 years, however long your warranty is to begin with, or if you have an extended warranty.
Yep.
But after that, like I'm driving my Subaru that Ashley takes care of. I'm at 48,000 miles, but it's 7 years old. And so I've been out of warranty for many, many years. So as soon as it was, we took it straight to Ashley and she's been taking care of it since.
But hey, just oil changes. You do a very good job maintaining the vehicle.
Okay. What about unexpected repairs when somebody brings you a car and it's making this noise?
Sure.
And it goes clunk, clunk. And, you're having to explain to somebody who's not quite sure what that noise is.
We always tend to look at automotive repair as far as priority. You bring your vehicle to us and we always address the concern that it came in for. If you have a noise, test drive. We like to test drive with our customers to make sure they're on the same page. Mr. Customer, you're hearing this noise. This is the noise I'm hearing. Are we on the same page? Once we get to the resolution where we're hearing the same noise, it goes to a technician. If a technician sees other items that may play more significant role to the impact of the safety and the reliability of the vehicle, as a professional, it is our job to educate the customer. Mr. Customer, I know you're hearing this noise. This noise will not affect the daily drivability of your car. However, we see this belt that's hanging on like a thread. If this breaks, this could potentially cause a snafu in your routine. Not going to be able to drive the vehicle. We always let the customer make the decision on what they want to do, but as the professionals, my team, and I would hope that the other teams at other shops do a really good job of prioritizing. Hey, this is critical. Hey, this doesn't impact the daily, drivability now, but it could in the future if it's not taken care of. And this is maintenance. This just prolongs the life of your vehicle. Finding a shop that communicates those things where not everything is an emergency, and they really can say, what kind of budget are you looking with? What's your plan with the vehicle? How long do you plan on keeping the vehicle? Is this your ride or die? Are you going to trade it in a year or two? Because all of that plays a key factor in what you decide to do with it.
We know how to put gas in the car.
Right. We know how to put gas in the car, but we don't know what it means when you have 0 millimeters left on your brakes.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, how do you help mitigate fear towards the unknown when it comes to that, and make sure that, your customers know that it isn't you unfortunately, I know that shops out there take advantage
and it happens a lot.
And how do we as consumers make sure that we aren't being taken advantage of if it's, especially, if you have a relationship, you would hope that would be the big one right there.
You would hope, yes.
But if your husband or significant other or whatever had the relationship with the shop and you know that you've always gone there because they've always gone there, how do you know you're getting what would somebody expect what should they ask?
Sure. So we can take for an example, let's go the route, if your vehicle had metal to metal brakes. I'm a big fan of showing a customer what their brakes look like. Mr. Customer, do you have a moment to come down and take a look at your vehicle with me in the shop? That happens a lot. If a customer seems to not be understanding where we're going, my service advisors do a really good job of communicating in layman's terms, not using tech talk. So it's very easy to relate something in words that we can understand. So when customers say, oh, I have my check engine light on and this is the code. People are like, well, why do you need a diagnosis? Why do I have to pay you? This happens a lot. This is what I get a lot. Why do I have to pay you to do a diagnosis on my car? I already have the code. The code says it's for an oxygen sensor. In many different makes and models of vehicles, there's more than one oxygen sensor. So we do the diagnosis. The code is like giving a zip code to a home. In a general area where the house is going to be, you don't know how to get there. So our diagnosis will give you the address. We know exactly which oxygen sensor, we know why it failed, or we know that something else has failed, which is taking out the oxygen sensor. So we try to use layman's terms, and we always invite people into the shop. I'm never embarrassed. My doors are always open. I would say when you're looking for a shop, if they won't let you inside the shop, that's a red flag.
Okay, so that
would be a red flag.
Would be an absolute red flag. So that's
for me. Yes,
that's a good question.
Can I come see it?
Can I come see it?
Yep.
Can I come see your shop? Can you walk me through?
Can I see the hose? Can I see the brakes? Can I see what you're talking about? Can we look at it on my car? If someone's like, no, you can't come into the shop, that would be a red flag for me. And hopefully you've built a relationship, or someone in your life has built a relationship, or you've been able to do your due diligence, and this isn't an emergency situation. Unfortunately, people do find themselves in those situations. But if you do, ask them if you can come see it. I'm having a hard time understanding you. There is nothing wrong with admitting I'm having a hard time understanding where you're coming from. I'm not really car savvy. Can you show me? Can I come down there and can you show me? Okay. 10 out of 10, that should be no problem for a service advisor to show you that.
Okay. And then I had a question about,
of course,
parts. When you've had parts removed or replaced, is that something that you can also ask to be shown? Like,
of course,
you've taken this oxygen sensor out and you're putting a new one in. Can you show me the one that I had? Or if, that belt, you're talking about a belt, you're saying that it's frayed.
Right.
Can you show me?
Can you show me what it looked like?
What it looked like, so that I know that,
unfortunately,
taking care of myself and, covering all of my bases.
Definitely. We always give the customer on our night drop form, there's an option if customers want their old parts. As long as the part doesn't have a core on it, we have absolutely no problem providing those parts to the customers. And it's a good educational piece too, because if you've never seen a frayed belt, you don't know what you're looking for.
Yeah.
So it's a good opportunity to see. I'm a firm believer in education. If you are getting a repair done on your car, and when you get it back, you don't know what they did, you don't understand, that's a fail. We want to make sure we're educating ourselves. So even if you do find yourself in an emergency situation, oh my goodness, I don't know what happened, my car is broken down. By the end, I hope you walk away with, oh, I know what happened to my car and I know what got fixed, and I'm confident that I didn't get to take advantage of. It's so much more than... And it shouldn't be a transactional. We should build relationships with the people that are working on our cars. It's important.
Yeah, absolutely. What about certifications? Should somebody, be looking for a shop that is advertising certifications, and what kind of certifications should they be looking for?
So there's all different kinds of shops out there. Obviously, there's the dealer, and then you have independent shops. Independent shops don't necessarily have to be certified in anything, and then there's the mechanics that do things on the side, or there's backyard mechanics. All of them have good qualities. And so it's a personal preference. All of my technicians are ASE certified. That's important to me. They've gone to school. They have certifications that say, I have knowledge in this area. That could be a quality that some people are really looking for. Mm-hmm. Priorities, other people have other priorities, right? Cost is huge, for a lot of people. People are working on budgets. We don't just have tons of money to spend on unexpected car repairs. And if we aren't able to budget those, or if our significant other isn't there to take care of them for us anymore, we maybe not know how much money to spend on these items. Sometimes shops with larger qualifications, certifications such as AC certified technicians, master technicians, shops that belong to groups such as the Automotive Service Association or the Northwest Auto Care Alliance Association or AAA. Sometimes those shops can have a little bit of a higher cost related because of all the knowledge and experience that is provided within those walls. Just like the dealer. The dealership does have a reputation for technically having a higher cost associated. All of their technicians go through rigorous hours of school. They're not just somebody off the street.
Okay.
Where you could go to like Walmart or Jiffy Lube, those technicians come right off the street. They don't go to the rigorous training and hours. Therefore, the cost is lesser.
Okay. That makes sense.
To shed some light on. And those things are important. If cost is important to you, then that is something you really want to do your research on.
What should somebody who has never done any car related start with preventative maintenance? Where should they begin? Is it oil changes? Is it, those of us who don't know cars, we hear oil changes and timing belts and tune-ups. Do we even do those anymore? Because that was back, showing my age, 49 today.
Yes.
Tune-ups were back in, timing belt days was, that was a long time ago.
Yeah. Tune-up is a great term. It's still widely used today. It means a lot of different things. And it means something different to everybody depending on who you ask. And so some people, a tune-up can be, I want spark plugs and wires. Some people, a tune-up is an oil change and a brake inspection. Some people, a tune-up is all the fluid, spark plugs and everything. So people come to us and say, I want a tune-up. And we just say, okay, what does that look like for you? Oh, I just need an oil change. Okay, great. Not a problem. Generally, a tune-up is more like along the ignition-wise spark plugs, coils, wires, depending on the vehicle. If someone is brand new to owning a vehicle even, we get a lot of people who have never owned a vehicle before.
Okay.
Which is great. Women, they're buying their first car, their dad is not in their life, or they don't have a spouse, or their spouse is in the military and they're not there to help, or they're a single young lady. That's really exciting. My first piece of advice is get to know the vehicle you already have. How many miles does it have on it? What kind of make and model is it? Where are you at? Is it a brand new car? Well, the brand new cars are the easiest ones to maintain, right? They don't have years of wear and tear. You can start off easy, but not a lot of people can afford to buy a new car. So say you're buying a car that's about 10 years old and you have 100,000 miles. Can you get your hands on the service records? If you can't, that is when hopefully you've built a relationship with a shop. You can call them up and say, hey, I just bought a new car. It's 10 years old, has about 100,000 miles on it. I don't have any service records. What do I do? My first piece of advice is to bring the vehicle into the shop that you trust and get a comprehensive inspection. Have them look over it, in it, out it, check all your fluids, your brakes, steering, suspension. Make sure the vehicle is safe. Safety is the number one priority. Then we go in, okay, what's your goal? Is this going to be the last car you're going to buy for the another 10 years? Is this get you through to your brand new car you're going to buy in 5 years? Identify those goals, because when you know where you want the car to go, it makes the decision of what you want to do with the vehicle so much easier. If you were to come to me and say, Ashley, I just bought this car. I don't plan on keeping it very long. I just need it to get from point A to point B. Well, then it doesn't make very much sense to put $2,500 of maintenance into the car. You don't plan on keeping it. All right, well, you're safe. You don't need brakes. Belts look good. Charging system looks great. Your fluids will do fine for the next couple. Not going to prevent you from getting anywhere. You're good to go. But if you're going to say, Ashley, I just bought this car. I plan on keeping it as long as possible. Well, then those maintenance items then play a factor, because if you want to maintain those systems, so in 10 years, you're not looking at me going, Ashley, oh my gosh, my power steering, the rack and pinion is leaking and it's all over the place. What happened? We didn't maintain those fluids, so they got metal shavings, and now you need a rack and pinion. Had we serviced those fluids a few times, you wouldn't need the expensive rack and pinion. So it all depends on your goals, on what you want to do and how to move forward. I feel like the biggest piece of advice that I could give to a woman who is having to make those ideas is relationship.
Yeah.
Be realistic in where you're at with the journey of your vehicle and where you want to go. Having clear expectations. If you're on the wall of, I don't know what I want to do with my car, getting an evaluation might help. Because if your car does need $5,000 worth of maintenance, that might be like, well, I don't feel like this car is worth $5,000.
And that brings me to my next question. Pre-purchase inspections.
Yes.
Can we schedule those? Is that a normal thing for somebody who has just, going out buying a car and says, okay, this is a used car. I'm looking at it from either this dealership or this person. I want to know what I'm looking at, and I don't know what I'm looking at. So can I bring it to you prior to purchase and say, hey, Ashley, I'm thinking about this car. What is your opinion?
100%. I'm a huge advocate for a pre-purchase inspection. Knowledge is power, right? Knowledge is king. And if you are looking to buy a used car, that's huge. You don't want
It's an investment.
It is an investment, and it could be, you want it to be a positive experience. My shop does do pre-buyer. We also do post-buyer inspections. Somebody who just purchased a car, sometimes there's like a little bit of a window when you can return the car if it's got some problems. I definitely know all the shops in our area do offer some sort of pre-purchase inspection. Being armed with information, I mean, you can negotiate a deal. If you're buying a used car and it needs this much money worth of work, that could help you negotiate. It could even help you maybe say, maybe this isn't the car for us. Or we just had a pre-purchase inspection today. The car was maintained beautifully. We said, hey, based on what we see here, obviously we don't have a crystal ball, that would be beautiful. But based on what we see here, this is a great purchase. This is a great buy. And we can say that with confidence, and then the customer knows, like, hey, like, that's awesome. There's nothing mechanically wrong with the vehicle. They did say it needs a little bit of fluid services. Those aren't, do or die. And maybe you can work that into the deal. Maybe when you go to buy the car, they'll do those services for you. A red flag there, I'm all about the red flags. Red flag there is a dealership that says they won't let the vehicle leave the property in order to get a pre-purchase inspection. I would just pass on the vehicle in a whole.
Yeah, I would walk away from that because that
doesn't feel good.
No, that doesn't breed confidence at all. That
not at
basically says we don't trust it, and we don't want you to know that we don't trust it.
Yes, exactly. Yep, that's a huge red flag. Pre-purchase inspections can save you thousands of dollars. They vary in cost, $50 to $150. I would say any amount of money is worth maybe not potentially falling into a $10,000 oops.
Absolutely. Nobody wants to do that.
No, nobody wants to do that.
Nobody wants to do that. What about estimates?
Sure.
So can we expect that from every shop? Is that something?
It's the law.
It's the law.
That is the law. Yes, there is a law that when you bring or drop off a vehicle and you give verbal agreement, based on the conversation you've already had, it is the law. You cannot pay more than 10% more than an amount you've already agreed to. Per the law, we have to provide a written or verbal estimate that has to be approved. In Washington state, it can be approved verbally. In California, you do have to get written permission from a customer in order to perform work on their vehicle at an agreed price. But yes, you do have to give verbal permission in order to, and that does have to be documented.
Okay, so there is some consumer safety at that point.
100%, it is the law. Yep.
That's fantastic to know.
Reviews go. I know Google is a really big stickler about reviews. Our shop uses a program called SureCritic, and those reviews are actually sent via email to customers that have closed invoices in our shop. So they've physically done business with us. So SureCritic is a great place. But honestly, talk to your friends and family. That is one of my biggest pieces of advice. If you've got friends and family that live in the area, they all drive cars. Where do you take your car? Where do you have your car maintained? If you trust those people, that would be a great referral. And a referral that is from somebody you trust is so much stronger than one off Google. If you find me on Google, I love that, but I would rather you find me from someone that you know, love, and trust, because then you'll trust me, and I can build that relationship with you, because it is 2024, and how do you trust that all the reviews on any website are legit?
Exactly.
You know, you do have to take that I'm a consumer too. I own an automotive shop, but I'm also a consumer, and I also have that same concern, you know. Unfortunately, you know, being in the automotive industry, we do have there is a stigma. It's one I fight back every single day. And nobody likes to do business. They're not excited to see me. It's not fun to get your car worked on. And so one of my biggest missions is to change the experience, and change the stigma. Just because you're getting work done doesn't mean you have to get taken advantage of. And my biggest piece of advice is, if you are a single lady, by any something happened to your partner, you choose not to have a partner, and that's totally fine. Or your partner is a military, or they've passed on, or whatever, you end up in a situation and there is not someone in your life that is automotive savvy. Arm yourself with information, get to know people, build a relationship, get to know the machine you're driving if you're not in a dire situation, so that if, God forbid, you do go to start your car and it doesn't start, you're prepared.
And that's all we can hope for.
That's all we can hope for. That's for sure. And lean on your girlfriends. I mean, we like to have a girl tribe. We like to support each other. Lean on your friends. Like I said, they all drive cars, most likely. And if you need help, reach out to them. And I am always a good resource. I tell people all the time, even if you choose not to do business with me, please call me. I may not be the shop for you because of the area or the price, but I'm still a resource in the community. If you have a question or you want a second opinion, I'm always here.
That's fantastic. And I will leave Ashley's information, her socials, and McCabe's automotive information in the description box. Ashley, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a blast.
Yeah, we've been having so much fun with
Even on your birthday.
Even on my birthday. So, all right, guys, have a great time. And if you're interested, definitely check out that video right there. Bye now.